Today is the last day of April, and I thought, let me go ahead and get some of a garden tour recorded. Plus, there are some things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So let's get started. We'll start with this tree behind me. This is our nectarine tree, and it's been the joy and bane of my existence, like, since we first planted it. No, well, not since we first planted it. I won't say that. Maybe the second year, when we first had issues with the plum circulo bug. And then the following year, we started having issues with a fungus that causes zombie fruit. Now, I'm going to get up and show you in detail what that is. But just know that it's a fungus that gets to your fruit before you do. So it affects stone fruit. Our whole front property is stone fruit. We have nectarines, peaches, and plums. And our trees, for space sake, are planted fairly close together. So this is something that can affect all of the trees very quickly. We've thought we had a good routine of using some organic fungicides and pesticides that would help. The pesticides work great. We had very few issues on our nectarine tree with the plum circulo bug. However, the peach trees have fallen victim to the plum circulo. The nectarine tree fell victim to. So, brown rot is a fungus caused by Monolinia fructicola. It results in mummy fruit, not zombie fruit, which I will continually repeat throughout this video. Sorry. That doesn't help because most of these organic pesticides need to be reapplied after a rain. And so that's a lot of work. And we're talking about my hubby that works full-time, our son who works part-time, but he also does a lot of odds and ends jobs. My daughter, who is in her final year of high school, which is basically she's putting 2 years together to graduate early, so she's fairly busy as well. And she also has her entrepreneurship that she's working on, her own business, where, you know, she's got to work on her orders and get them shipped off in a timely manner. Basically, everybody is busy. You understand that? And so there's that struggle, like, who's gonna get on the ladder? It ain't gonna be me. I'm not getting on the ladder. And to me, it helps to explain why you don't see, in the South anyway, you don't see organic nectarines. You very seldomly see organic peaches. I've seen them one time. And so it's just like, it starts to make sense once you're walking in the shoes of the producer and you're understanding the inner workings of everything. It's just very difficult. Now, even for conventionally grown peaches and nectarines, there can still be quite a struggle, because once these bugs and funguses take hold, it's a lot to recover. And one of the things that you will do is to do a pretty hard prune of your tree. We're also going to be this year, probably here shortly, we're going to be doing some flame throwing around the base of the trees to try to destroy any of the fungus that may be in the grass and soil, to kind of give us a fresh start. And I would like to do that this part of the year, but I'd also turn around and like to do it again coming into November, December area, because this tree usually will start putting on blooms in around December. So from my research, that's just probably one of the things that could help. I can't speak on whether it will until we get to that point, and we'll take you along on that journey. When I started pruning this tree, I was so sad. I was literally out here with the loppers, and I was lopping the pieces off, and I was just in tears, like just tears of frustration. You know, it feels bad to work so hard on something and nurture it, and then it still not do well despite your best efforts. And so not only that, we're trying to work our hardest this year, to any year, but especially this year, because you know we're at that point where a lot of things are becoming self-sufficient as far as our perennials, where we really want to do as much as we can to provide for ourselves when it comes to food production. And so fruit is a big deal when it comes to those things, because fruit is expensive, especially organic fruit. But any fruit, conventionally grown fruit, is ridiculous, you know. So you know, we were very hopeful this year, and just didn't work out. And so I didn't record that process of chopping those branches down, because just it felt wrong. But it's still some pruning that needs to be done. Some of the branches that need to be cut away are thicker, and they will require a saw. So hubby will take care of that. But in speaking to the nursery, one of the things that was expressed is to make sure that the base of the tree is getting plenty of sun to help eradicate and prevent any fungus from growing there. And so what I've done is to try to cut branches away that were, you know, preventing sun from getting down to the ground. Okay, so I'm going to show you that now. And because there's still branches on there with fruit that are needing to be trimmed off, I can also show you what the zombie fruit syndrome looks like. I think we had a video on it last year as well, but I can't remember. But this will be the updated version. Alright, so you can see here where we've trimmed some off. And here's the main trunk. Let me bring you out a little bit. There's that main trunk. And you can see areas where I've kind of chopped off the best that I could with the loppers. But these branches, this tree grew so well and so fast that yeah, it was crazy how quickly it grew. We didn't even get one piece of fruit from this tree this year, not even one. So I'm gonna try to angle up. Let me see if oh, here's one that's close. Let's see. And this is what zombie fruit looks like. So it basically gets to the fruit before it even has a chance to mature. Let's see if I can get my hand behind it so it'll focus. There. It gets to the fruit before it even has a chance to mature. And so there's just literally nothing to be done. So the fungicides should have taken care of it, but I believe there was just too much rain. And I'm gonna angle up a little bit more so you can see, hopefully, how much fruit we lost to this disease. It's terrible. Very heartbreaking. But as far as our walk-through, this is one of the most disappointing things. And the neighboring trees, as you go that way up the hill, the peach trees, you can see some instances where the plum Sukira got in there and has already done damage. And so we may not get anything off of some of these peach trees as well. but we're hopeful still. So that's what's going on with our orchard right now. You can see we got the ladder out, but we've been trying to take care of things. Let me show you what it looks like when there's damage from the plum circulo. In case you have trees, peach trees or whatever, and you see this happening, you'll know what it is that's going on. So if you see the zombie fruit, I'm gonna get the name of that fungus and put it in here. Okay, that one looks good. Okay, here we go. Here's one. Let me zoom in for you. Okay, so you see the sappy looking stuff on the outside of the fruit there? Let me see if I can just pull it. There we go. This sappy looking stuff here is what results when the plum circulo burrows into the fruit. And basically it will rot from the inside out. Fall off the tree. But the funny thing is, it usually doesn't fall off until it's just about mature. Which really sucks, because it's like it's rubbing it in your face. You're not eating this. Nope, not at all. So yeah, that's what that looks like. But as we go up the yard, and you can see there's a high tunnel up there. If you're ever the setup of our property, we try to keep the animals, as far as the farm animals, chickens and everything, rabbits. Most of the rabbits are up there, near the high tunnel. So we say up the hill. We're talking usually about the high tunnel hoopty, and we're talking about the chickens and things like that. So there are some things that are doing well, and you know, when you're farming, you kind of just have to, you really need to focus on the good. And this is one area where things are looking pretty good. And this is over where we started our garlic earlier, or last year, late last year. This area is doing really good. We've harvested some scapes already. I haven't prepared them because it wasn't that many. But it looks like we've got 3 more here. So that's about 1 per person. So I may go ahead and pull those 3 there and just saute those up with some beans or something tonight for dinner. So this is just a really good, to me, and not bragging or anything, because Lord knows I've made my measure of screw ups when it comes to gardening and farming, and I try to learn from each one and grow to be a little better the next year, the next season. But this is just one example that we have of growing a lot in a small space. So on this side, let me see if I can, there we go, bring you out some so you can see. So there's a trellis across the top. There's actually 3, and they're not beautiful in the way that they're set up, but they're functional, very sturdy. On those, on the opposite side there, we have the grapes, which I'll show you when I get over there, that are vining on that side. We also have planted long beans on some of these trellises, and we have tomatoes going up some of these trellises. So, and there should be a maypop coming back somewhere. You can see the there, yeah, right there. There's the vine where it was last year, and I just don't know if it's gonna come back or not, but we'll see. But anyway, in this small space, we have all of these heads of garlic that we've planted back in October, between October and November. And we got a few over there on that side. In between that garlic, I planted some of our Italian, I believe these are the Italian squash. And let's see, they're starting to put on now, which is great. It's a little early for me to have squash, but I'm really excited about that, especially on the outside. I've tried to plant squash and zucchini in the high tunnel, even the varieties that are supposed to be good for high tunnel growing. I just cannot seem to have success with that, so I didn't even try it this year. But in this small space, just on this side, we've got all of this garlic, which will be coming out within the next, we usually start pulling our garlic around June, but sometimes it's ready beforehand. So we just keep an eye on it. We pull them and test them and see. There's some dahlias that are coming back in here as well from last year. There's tomatoes also against the trellis here. There, right back there. And there's some over here as well on this side of the trellis. So they'll have plenty of space to grow and climb. I'm just excited to see those blooms. We have blooms and some little tomatoes on the ones in the high tunnel, which is really, really cool. But it's also nice to see buds on these out here. I was very, very ambitious, and I planted these before we were past the threat of official frost. And then we had a cold spell, and I was like, great, I'm gonna lose all my stuff. What I did was I planted, I covered them with these little domes, and I'll put a picture of that up here somewhere so you can see what I'm talking about. And they were fine through those few days of cold, and now we've got this boost of growth that we wouldn't normally have this time of year outside of the high tunnel. Now the ones in the high tunnel are twice as big as those, but it's just nice to see the squash coming on out here without the use of the high tunnel, and it's nice to see the tomatoes doing so well out here. So in this space, we've got tomatoes, we've got long beans, we've got squash, we've got garlic, and plenty of spiders. Okay, the spiders are crazy out here. But I also noticed, even though they're being attacked by bugs because I didn't spray, there's some kale coming up from where we planted kale last spring, and it never did anything, and it's coming up now. So isn't that something? Seeds are gonna do what it's gonna do when it's ready to do it. Ain't no rushing that, y'all. This is a hot mess, y'all. But this is where we have our asparagus bed. This is a 3-year bed, and it's done really well, but the weeds got into it so bad this year. This thing has been, you wouldn't guess it, but it's been weeded 3 times already for the season since it came back to life. And look at it. Look at all these weeds everywhere. But we've harvested asparagus from it. We've used it in a meal, and that's the goal. So being able to provide side dishes or main dishes from the garden at least 5 days out of the week. And last week we did 3 days, but we did have a busy schedule, a really busy schedule. But this week starts a new week. So yesterday we didn't, but I'm gonna make sure we do for the rest of the week. We're gonna have those garlic scapes for one. Here we have a raised bed that we moved from over where the muscadines are, and we really had those boxes saved, but as you can see, these are not the ones we should use because of the ink. And but then today we got some more from a friend, and so we'll be able to use those instead, and we'll put these in the burn pile. But yeah, we're gonna get this area lined and get some dirt brought in, and I'm probably gonna use this as my echinacea bed because they'll be beautiful, all the different colors that we had to actually bloom as they grow. So, oh Lord, hey, where you going? Where are you going? Huh? What are you doing? The wild one has been released. The Kraken has been released. Okay, so moving forward, let's get on this other side of this bed, and we'll show you some of the things that are growing in here. Go ahead, Brady. He's a wild one. All right, so here On the other side of the trellis are some of the things that we have growing are some tomatillos, and I do believe that this is my comfrey coming back from last year, and the tall one I do believe is a weed. The edges of the leaves are different, and that's what makes me think that one is one and one is the other. But I'm actually going to just pull the taller one here. Yeah, the taller one there behind it, because I'm pretty sure I know what it is. It's a weed. So we do have some tomatillos in here. We have tomatoes. Ooh, and I'm really excited about that stevia. So let me get over there so I can show you. Okay, so here is our stevia right there. And also you can see some radishes that we planted. These were like a 21 day variety that we planted, and some of them came up right away and some of them decided to come up later. So, oh, there's another, good, we'll have another scape, I was thinking. But anyway, yeah, it's doing really well. Now, we did procure the stevia and the comfrey and some other organic starts, which I usually do. We usually do all of our own starts, but I had tried to grow stevia from seed before, and it just, I can't get it to grow. Get back ready. Couldn't get it to germinate. Nothing. I could get nothing to happen. So we started doing started doing business with, but we started using Azure to buy some of our organic products, and they have a farm by which they also do organic starts. So that was really special for us to be able to get certified organic starts, because in our area it's not really a thing. So we got that, and of everything, the chocolate mint came back, the spearmint came back, the regular mint came back, and what I believe is comfrey over here also came back. My lavender didn't come back. The thyme didn't come back. Oh, the chives did good. We actually got flowers from those, and we've been eating them. I love them. I did not realize I was gonna really enjoy that much, but I was like, oh, this is some good eating right here. Okay. So I was really excited about that. Let me flip you back around. This grapevine here, I'm trying to remember if it was Stark Bros or I can't remember. I have to check my notes. But no, it wasn't Stark Bros, I remember. It was another company. We bought several of them, and you may have watched that video. And all of them died, and I thought this one wasn't going to do anything either, but it did. And I'm so just totally stoked by the fact that it is doing so well. So we have our actual grapes that are forming here, there, oh, Brady, there, and if you see, where is it? Let's see if I can find one that's doing it. Ooh, okay, right here. I'll put an arrow pointer. These right here, where it's kind of like spiky, flowery, weird looking, they're actually pollinating. So there's actually, we don't know how many of those will actually be grapes, but afterwards it'll start to look something like this, and all of these are now pollinated grapes. So it looks like a bunch of grapes, y'all. And I do believe that this is a purple variety, but I just my label got gone, and y'all know this is always happening to me. My label got gone, and so I don't know we'll see once they mature, and I can go back and look at my notes and my order invoices and figure it out. So over here we've got some fennel growing, and some lettuce in the back there. The red lettuce always goes to seed before I can do anything with it, and this green lettuce is trying to, but we've been harvesting it and eating it. I just found locally a source for the Coop Grow. I think it's an Omri listed fertilizer that I've seen several YouTubers use, and it seems to have really good results. It's not very high in nitrogen or anything, but the micronutrients are very good. And if you think about the fact that it is coming from composted chicken manure, that, you know, we're good. It makes sense that it would be very beneficial. Hey, what you got? You see it? Oh, thank you. Dude just totally ended my video. He threw his little slobbery VHS up on my camera and just totally did that. He's so spoiled. So that's what we have thus far over here. Now all of this still needs to be watered for today, but I think we may get some rain. It's a 50% chance, so I'm hoping that we get some. That is a loud bird. Getting more toys. Oh, got the ball. Yay, you got that ball. Good boy. So now we're just gonna make a loop. Just went around one of our trees to an area that is also very weeded. It's really not necessarily weeds, but it's just it's a lot of growth right here. This is right down in front of our front porch, and this tree right here in front of me is one of our tea trees. For some reason it got a lot bigger than the other one. The other one is over there. It's just about covered by grass, but you can also see our gladiolas are getting ready to open, and I'm really excited about that. So I'll probably try to get somebody to get in here and weed and do a little bit of work before those open, because obviously I'm going to want to get some good pictures as they open up. So we also have some mint in here, and we did a really heavy harvest of it already. And this mint we bought from our local master gardener sale a few years ago, and it took it a while to get established. I mean, everybody's like, yeah, mint takes over, it does this, it does not do that for me. So I thought. And then we got that mint from Azure, and y'all, look at that, it's everywhere, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I would love for it to take over this whole section, honestly, because there's nothing but weeds that really grow here, and so like it's not bothering me, and it gives me an incentive to harvest it when it gets to be a lot. And then for that, we just will take it and process it and put it up for teas, either for us or for our customers or for both. And so, I mean, that's a win-win situation to me. Okay, let's talk about what's in these pots. In this first pot, we have some aloe vera and some chocolate mint. I can't remember if it's chocolate mint or chocolate spearmint. Either way, y'all, it smells like a York peppermint patty. That is so good. There is a bunch of it that came back in this bed over here. I'll show you in a second. Here we have those tiny potatoes that we planted from Baker Creek. I can't remember the name. I'll put it up here somewhere. Ooh! And look at these purple gladiolas that are opening up here. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about those two. Those are going to be absolutely gorgeous. I guess people are coming home for lunch. I don't know. And here in this pot, you know, we have our, ew, Brady. We have our oregano in the high tunnel because a rookie mistake. I didn't realize that it would be something that would grow the way it did. It kind of grows like mint. It spreads its roots underground like mint and thyme and so many other perennials. So I didn't know. Anyway, it's doing great in the high tunnel, but it is creeping over into some of the walkway area, and we'll eventually get into some of our rows. So again, just like with the mint, I just take that as an opportunity to harvest the excess and use it and preserve it. Use it or preserve it in some way, either putting it into a meal for the night, or I'm going to dehydrate it and use it in a spice blend or something later. So it's a win-win situation. But I did want to get some established in a pot to have a secondary plant, and it hasn't completely died. It's done pretty good because it was pretty hot that day that we put it out here, but it's not completely dead. I'm probably going to pull some more and put in there and go from there. All right, so here we have our tangelo tree in our next pot. This is what happened. You see it kind of looks yellowish green, like it's not doing the best, and it had all kinds of fruit on it, but now it doesn't. What happened is, even though it's got holes, those holes got clogged up some kind of way, and it was holding water, and I didn't realize it. And so as a result, its feet got and stayed wet for a while. And when I realized it, I did go ahead and put some drainage, unclog the drainage holes or whatever, but it might have been too late. But we'll see. I'm still working on it, keeping it alive and everything. Finally, in the last blue pot over there, we have our grapefruit tree, and it's doing really good. You can see the little grapefruits on there. Grapefruits take forever, y'all. All citrus, actually. It's just like one of those things where it just takes a long time, and so I'm not as envious. Again, walking in the producer's shoe, you start to understand some things that you may not have before when it comes to the way these prices and things are set up at the grocery store. You start to be like, okay, I get it now. And I do. So let me get up. I'm sitting on my rollator, and I have my rollator with me today, just because my body is kind of recuperating from a very busy weekend. Even though it's Tuesday, Friday we had a big event out of town, about 45 minutes away. I drove there. We were there about 3.5 hours, 4 hours, and I drove back, and then I was tired, and then had a day to rest. And then we had another big event that was about 2 hours away, and we were there all day, and we headed back home 2 hours back, and that was Sunday. And then y'all, when I tell you my body was angry, that is an understatement. My body was not happy with me. But we make calculated sacrifices. We make calculated sacrifices. Sometimes some things are worth it. And these events that we had were centered around our spirituality and what we can do to be loving people in a world where love is lost, you know, and how to find peace in God's rest. And when I tell you it was worth it, it was worth it. You know, and that's what I kept telling my body, like, okay, you made this big sacrifice, but the mind and the heart are going to flourish because of the spiritual enrichment that we just got. So you'll get over it. I'm still getting over it, but so worth it. So I have my rollator today. I'm not hurting. I'm just a little unsteady and just wanting to be on the safe side. So I want to go around here and show you some of our vining winter squash that we've planted and some more of the in-ground mint. This is going to be a long video. Oh, Brady. Brian back there chilling. Alright. Oh, let me get you turned around so you can see this up close. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? And some of them are pretty good size. Let's zoom out. There you go. Yeah, those are pretty good size. I'm going to keep Brady from running into the tree and knocking them off. We should be fine. Alright, so over here, I gotta get back over in there and get those squash situated. They're starting to vine. I got one up on the trellis, as you can see there, in the middle, but there's another one over on the other side that is not. So I'm gonna get over in there while I'm recording and go ahead and get that taken care of. I will put the name of these squash in the video. I can't remember. I wonder if these are my tromboncino. These may be the tromboncino. This whole area will be overtaken in probably 2 weeks. With this trellis is going to be unable to be seen, and my goal is to run them up onto the side of the porch there, along the railing, and try to direct them all that way to keep them off the ground so that we can keep this area here mowed and snake free. We'll see how that works out. But that I had cucuzzi last year from a friend. I think I planted it and it didn't do well, and then I got some of the fruits of their labor. And cucuzzi and tromboncino are they're kind of closely related, and so, well, from the research I've seen, and so I'm wanting to use those this year in putting them up, but also in just watching the beauty of them growing. So here is all that chocolate mint that I was telling you about. See it? All in there. All in there. It all came back. And I only had 2 plants, so that's really good. Last but not least is our ollie raised bed, and we have some. Oh, this is one of Brady's hideout areas. It's shady over here. My boy does not like the heat. It's just 80s, and he's like, Lord help me. That's the base is hot. Yeah, it's hot out there. Don't like that heat, Brady. Also got some glass. Yeah. Oh, I got glass. He not too basic, mama. Alright, let me leave the dog alone. Okay, so in this bed We've got some cilantro going to seed. We've got our chives back there. And we have some tomatillos and sage as well. There are some peppers in here, and there's an eggplant. I noticed that things were not growing very fast in here. The only thing that was doing really good was the chives. And they've been here for a minute, so they're pretty well established. The cilantro is doing good, you know, but we all know how picky cilantro is. So I've just been letting it grow, and I'll break it off and give some to the rabbits. They like it. That whole section back there behind it, though, does need to be weeded, because if we allow those things to go to seed, you know what's going to happen to my bed. There's already some weeds growing in there, but not as nearly as bad as it's going to be if all of that falls down in there. So I'll probably put a cover over it and have Brian do some weeding on that after this rain that we're supposed to get, because the ground will be much looser and it'll be a lot easier to get that stuff up. A lot of the other stuff back there are just bushes that we try to keep down, because there's a tendency for wasps to grow in those bushes. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, this particular bed, there is only store-bought dirt in here. I'm trying to remember if we put any of our compost in here. I can't remember. But okay, let's get Brady out of that. He's doing some private cleaning over there. Yeah, give him his privacy. But I can't remember. But what I have started to do is that coop grow that I told you we found a local supplier for. We did do a fertilization of around each plant in this bed yesterday, and hopefully between that and watering that in and pulling out some of the weeds that were in here, but also the rain and whatnot will be a good boost to this bed. And as funds allow, I will probably go ahead and be getting some black cow also to top it off, because you can see the level has fallen quite a bit from where we originally started. It was up kind of where that top crease is where the soil level was. So it has compacted quite a bit. It'll probably take about 5 to 6 bags to get our level back where it should be. So that is there anything else I want to show you? These chicken houses we got off of Facebook Marketplace, and we've been working on cleaning them, just making sure there's no disease or anything in them, and eventually we'll get them up the hill and get your booty out of the way. Get them up the hill and set up for the chickens. And that's another video that I need to do as well. But also this little area in the little cut here, right here, is you're gonna find, we're gonna go ahead and have a smaller rabbit set up right here. So we'll probably get at least 2 more rabbits in this little section and get it set up. That is Calypso at the top and Cher down at the bottom, and with Sweet Pea having 8 babies and them all doing very well. Until they sell, there'll be a need for reorganizing and restructuring as well. On the inside of the fencing where the 2x4s are, we'll be putting some type of cover so that they can all sit there safely and be okay. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and that's what's going on at Bain Home Gardens this last day of April 2024. So what's going on your homestead? Whatever you're doing, whatever you're growing, don't give up. We're coming into a really tough part of the year here in South Alabama, where it's going to be extremely hot and extremely humid as we try to get the first fruits of our labor from spring planting, our summer crops. So don't give up. Your tomatoes are going to be coming in soon, your cucumbers, all of the goodies are on the way. Till next time, We'll see you.